Hi everyone, this is Mary D'Alba.
And I'm Ericka Ayube.
And thanks for listening to our podcast today. We have some great information to go over with you. So today's topic is one that I think that we both love, know very well. It's very near and dear to our hearts. It's the tarot. Or some people pronounce it the tarot. Tarot, very fancy.
Whatever you prefer.
Whatever you prefer, but it's those 78 cards of major and minors and some court cards thrown in. It's true, right? So it really tells you about everything that's going on in your life, the people in your life. And what we're going to do today is talk about why it's important to get a tarot reading, what's the benefits of it, and why we love it so much. So I'm sure we'll explain that a little bit too. But one of the things I think is important about getting a tarot reading is it helps people get some guidance on what is coming up for the future. People usually don't come for a tarot reading when everything's going super groovy.
Never.
No.
That's not how it works.
It's not how it works, which is okay. I mean, I think if you're a seasoned tarot reader like Ericka and I are, that it's okay to come and have us look at what's coming up in the future for you and see a road that you can take. You know, Ericka, what's your experience with it?
I do feel like a lot of people tend to come to me in more of their crises moments. Well, tarot can be good anytime. I feel like I would recommend anyone to get their cards read like every 3 months or so because, you know, life changes. You know, you make different decisions every, any day. So that's why I said, people can just come back every few months just to kind of re-up. Yeah.
I think it's a great way to look at just everything. I mean, it can look at really any topic, most topics, because things a tarot reader is not. We're not therapists. We're not doctors. We're not lawyers. We're not people that when you have a real serious situation going on, I've got a really bad pain somewhere and it's definitely not my baseline.
We're not doctors.
What should I do? My answer would be go to the doctor. Right. So it's important, I think, for people to know what our roles are. I mean, we can look at those things that you have control over and choices about. But at the end of the day, I think it's important for somebody to really take the information and run with it. Be empowered by the information. That's what a good reading will do for you, is it'll make you empowered to grab onto that information, say, okay, I think I'm going to do something with this, and then make your own choices. And that's really the point of it. It's not to tell you what to do.
No, it gives you the tools that you need to make the choice yourself.
Right.
Sometimes it's just that second opinion that someone needs in order to make that choice.
Yeah, it's important because I think we're not emotionally involved. So when you talk to your family member, and of course, we'd encourage people to do that. Talk to your family members, talk to your spouse, talk to whoever you're going to talk to. But at the end of the day, we're on the outside looking in and we don't have that emotional attachment. So that's why sometimes we can say, I'm really sorry, but he's not going to leave his wife for you.
They don't like hearing that always.
No.
But it's almost refreshing to hear it from a second unbiased opinion.
Right. And those are some of the questions we get. I mean, this is reality. We get questions about people who are, in all different kinds of situations. And there's no judgment. I think that's also really important for us too.
The no judgment.
No judgment.
Because these people are coming to us not knowing us. We're strangers to them and they're trusting us with very personal information. And it means a lot to them that we're kind of giving them this unbiased view of their situation and how they can change it or manipulate it the way they want to.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important that people are able to just be free with it. Here's the other thing. You can't lie to a good psychic.
They'll be like, all right.
Right.
You can't. Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've had people try to flat out lie and I'm like, you're lying to me. And they're like, no. And I'm like, no, you're lying to me. I know you're lying to me. And stop that. Stop it. Just cease and desist because we know what's going on. So that's the thing. When you go into a reading, it's really important that you go in open. Now, Ericka, I'm sure you've read people that are closed up, right?
Oh yeah, that's like
just a few.
It's like trying to read a brick wall. I mean, I remember a few instances where we've gone out together and done some of our events. And I'm like, I don't know. I'll start sweating bullets under some of these people because they're so closed off. Like, they're not open to a reading in the first place and they're trying to force it. that's just like asking for trouble. There's no point in reading someone that's not open to it.
No.
Because you're not going to be able to pick up off of their feelings. They're like, when they lock themselves up to a reading, like they completely do like a full fortress lockdown on their emotions too. You can't even see past the superficial stuff. It's really difficult. And that's when it starts to try and feed on their skepticism. And they're like, oh, you can't read me.
Right.
I don't know. They just need to be, they got to loosen up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. I call it don't feed the medium or don't feed the psychic. So don't put it all in a spoonful for me and stick it in my mouth.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. But I mean, if I say to someone, I'm getting this situation, here's the information. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Tell me if it makes sense or not. Or if I'm a little bit off, say, you're sort of there, but I don't 100% understand it. That's okay too. But I think it's important that you come in, whoever comes in for a reading, with some openness to them. Because when I love the people who sit down in front of me and fold their arms. I'm like, okay, here we go.
You're like, oh, great, another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's understandable. I think there might be some fear behind it. And there might be some, let's test the psychic. I've heard about you people before. I've seen you people on TV. You people. So what's the, let's see what you got. Okay. I'll show you what I got.
All right. So let me read what you got.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
But I think it's important, being open and being available. It's sort of a mini relationship. Someone sits down for a reading for a certain amount of time with us, and it's a little mini relationship going on where we say, this is what I'm seeing. This is what you could do with this information. And really you want to leave them and hopefully they leave feeling like they have some information. Sometimes, like we talked about, it's not such great information. It may be what the reality of the situation is. And
it's something they don't want to face.
No. But at least we can look at it and then someone can do something about it. And that's really what's important. At least they're
getting, sometimes like they just get a warning or just a heads up or just that second opinion that they just needed in order to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really important. Here's the other thing I'll tell you that's important about a psychic reading. If you happen to read cards also, we love to read you. However, don't read along with us. Don't tell me the Ten of Swords means something different. I know and I think if you're an intuitive reader, that's your interpretation, which is totally fine. I mean, go with it. If you play around with cards or you're a reader yourself, be open to what the reader's telling you. Mm-hmm. Now listen, I've had people where they've said to me, you're absolutely way off. And sometimes I may be way off. But tell me that, because then I can say either I'll try for another minute or two, or maybe we stop.
Yeah.
And you go to another reader, or here's your money back. We'll figure it out. But
we got to know.
We got to know
so we can pull the leash on that collar and bring the reading back.
Right.
Because we're never going to know. I usually will ask for yes or no questions and be like, is this accurate? And if they say yes or no, and then we just go on from there.
Right. Because we really don't want to, I think to have a pure, quote, pure reading, one where our spirits are talking to us and the cards are talking to us and there's this whole vibey thing going on. I think it's important for people to be present in that moment and say, yep, that makes sense. No, that doesn't. I'm not really 100% sure, but
they need to open themselves up.
Yep. Because honestly, I don't think we read these deep, dark secrets that people have. They're always afraid that we're going to read and I think what we get at the time is what the spirits think they need to know at the time.
They need to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we may touch upon a touchy point. We may.
And it's nothing against you.
No. No.
We're just bringing that out to your attention because it needs to be addressed. Like it's a no judgment zone ever.
Right. Ever.
With a psychic.
Ever.
With a true psychic.
With a true psychic.
With a true psychic.
Yeah, with a true psychic.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that a little bit, because we're talking about true psychics, good psychics. There's all different kinds of readers out there. There's tons of different readers. There's tons of different psychics. There's tons of different mediums. And I think what's important is you want to be with someone that reads you that is coming from a loving, caring
good place. Mm-hmm.
If people are asking you for money in your reading to take off a curse, to take off bad luck, run for the hills.
Run away.
As fast as you can.
It's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trap.
Actually, this was one of my experiences. I can talk about this a little bit. I went into a store I was going in to buy candles. I'm big on candles. In fact, I have 16 going in this room right now.
They're beautiful, by the way.
Yes, I had to. I mean, it's just the light. You gotta have the light.
You gotta.
So I went in to buy candles, and I happened to see a woman there, and I said, "Oh, do you do readings?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Terrific." So they brought me in, and she was reading me, and she told me that somebody was attached to me, and I'm not kidding you, this is a true story. Somebody was attached to me that passed away, that died in a very tragic car accident, and it was a relative of mine. And I said, well, let me tell you, I've had a lot of people pass away on both sides of the family. Cancer, drugs, I mean, pretty much anything you can name. The one thing that I can tell you has not happened in my family at this point, knock wood, I hope it doesn't, is someone dying of a car accident. I can pinpoint everybody else. If you gave me cancer, I could probably name 3 or 4. If you gave me diabetes or you gave me stroke, whatever, I could. Heart attacks, definitely. Heart attacks all over the place.
Yeah.
Then we can talk. But a car accident, no. And she insisted that I had a family member who died in a car accident who attached themselves to me. And for, I think it was $3,000, she could have the spirit removed from me. She would have to fight the spirit to get off me. She would have to bless me and do a baptism and a whole bunch of other things to me. But I, of course, would have to come up with the money because it's, number one, a very tedious process. And number two, she would have to get a bunch of supplies to do it. And I said to myself, no.
No.
So, but the fear is, and what she was trying to instill in me at that point was, I had this relative that had not crossed over. I loved this relative very much. They had been attached to me. They were sucking my energy away from me. I mean, there was a whole bunch of problems here that she was trying to convey. And I said, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I said, I'm going to finish my candle purchase. I said, I'll think about it and I'll get back to you. And I took my candles and I walked out of the store, and then I called the police.
Good.
And let them know that someone was trying to get $3,000 out of me out of this particular store. And I wanted to let them know. And if they had any questions for me, they could get back to me. Now, whether or not they did anything with that, I don't know. But I will tell you right now, that is not a typical reader. No. That is not a typical, even if you're having a ton of bad luck.
Yeah.
I think a typical reader will tell you some ways to get around this bad luck, or to work with this, get it off your system, or get it off
on your own.
On your own. They may say, buy, here's this herb, or here's this great thing that you can do, and maybe it's $5 or $10 and you can buy it. It's nothing that's
what you should be doing first.
Right. You shouldn't be going to someone who's going to charge you $3,000. And I've had stories from other clients where I know one client who actually was up to about giving a reader about $10,000.
No way.
Yep, because what she did the first time didn't work. She needed to do something more powerful. Could they, not me, but could the person give them, $5,000, and, they had to try something a little more,
There's
a little stronger.
No way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it plays on people's fears. So
Agreed, yeah.
One of the things that I would say to folks is, if you run into someone like that who's saying they have to give, you have to give a ton of money in order to remove something, they usually play on your fear. So they're looking for bad luck curses, ancestral curses, all kinds of things that would affect your life day to day. Then you have to step back, get a second opinion, call a different psychic. Ask someone else, I had this person tell me this. And when I used to work in New Age stores, we had a lot of that too. People would call up and say, I had someone tell me this. They told me I had to pay them. One of them was $5,000 on a street corner to remove it. They had to meet him on a corner. And I said, no, definitely don't do that. Why don't you come in and get a reading? And
Black market psychic.
It was black market psychic. So it was pretty interesting, but
oh wow.
So I tell people some things that you can do. So definitely run away from that. Let me back up. Definitely run away. But some of the things you can do to get a good reading, I think we talked a little bit about it, is to be open.
First of all, just be open. If you want the help, you want the assistance, be open to it.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to help us or help you at all if you're guarded and have, this brick wall up that we can't access. So we're not here to bite. Nope. Maybe just a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. Not hard.
But it's not going to hurt.
No.
You might actually like it.
I love that.
But anywho, we're here to help. We don't judge. We know that, everyone has made their life choices up to this point in their lives for a reason. You survived the Darwin, the you've decided, you've gotten to this point because you've made the choices that you have, and we're not here to judge you for it.
No.
So we're just here to help you along the way.
Exactly.
So that's all you have to do is just be open. We're not here to judge you, and we look forward to working with you.
One of the other things I tell people that's really important is, don't come in with just like, oh, I want to see what you get. It's one of the things I really don't like about that is because then if you really have a question and you're giving me what you get, like whatever you get, if you give me that, then I'm going to, whatever I get is whatever I get.
Exactly.
So if you really have this question about a relationship, but you are saying to me just whatever in general, I may pick up about work, I may pick up about your kids, I may talk about your mother, or I may go into, that coworker that's driving you crazy. And the real core of what you're looking for is, I haven't touched on it yet because you told me just get whatever I get.
Pick up. Yeah.
So it's not that I can't get the fact that you're looking about relationship information. It's not that. But if it's open season, really, for me to grab whatever information, then that's what I'm going to do. So if you really do have a question about a relationship, think about that. You don't necessarily have to tell me. You can say, I've got a couple of topics in mind. I want to think about it. Then you think about it. I'm going to be able to get it. We can lock in. It's going to give you a richer reading, really.
Yeah.
If you say to me, I want a couple of things I want to look at. But if you go, just get whatever you get. I don't care. It's whatever. Then I'm going to get whatever.
Then we're just going to get what we're going to get.
We're going to get. So,
I mean, whatever is important to you might be less important to your spirit guides, and they're going to give us whatever they think is most important for you at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the way we read, Ericka, we can speak to that a little bit too, is that, I not only use tarot. I know we sort of talked about this topic of starting with the tarot, but kind of turned it into an overall reading experience. So that's where we are at this point. But I read very psychically, intuitively, mediumistically. So there might be a few different things that come through. So yes, like you mentioned, spirit guides may be talking. Yeah. Your grandmother may be talking. It may be, the cards. Sometimes I've read people like this where cards are spread out on the table and someone comes through and is like, I got to talk.
Absolutely.
And the cards, you kind of put the cards aside a little bit and say, this is, and then at the end of it, someone will say, well, what do the cards mean? I'm like, just everything we talked about.
Those don't even matter at this point.
Don't worry about it.
Grandma's right here, right now.
Right. Exactly.
That happens.
It does.
It does. Like, I feel like the tarot and among other things are just kind of tools for, the mediumship and the intuitive, energies that we just kind of tap on. Those kind of just get us started. And I even feel like during my sessions too, cards or energy or massage, anything, I'm always open to any messages that are going to be coming in. Right. So I'm not just limited, and I can't imagine that you aren't either. We're just multifaceted. So we could be doing one thing and someone will come in and be like, hey, it's my turn.
Right.
And we're like, okay, give me a minute.
Don't worry. Hold on. Let me just finish the sentence. And then we'll talk. So it's funny because I don't think people realize when we're in a reading, so we could be looking at a card and talking about something. And then in the, in our, they come in on the left side for me. I hear them mostly on my left side. Someone's in my left ear, hey, I got something to say to this person. So you're having this dialogue that so you're having a dialogue with the person in front of you and you're having a dialogue with the person on the other side. Trying to get this so it's you're hearing all kinds of voices and it's a multitasking kind of thing, but yeah, it's definitely something that can be very interesting. But like I said, if you have a good relationship with the person sitting across from you,
exactly, and they're open to it,
then you can have some of the most powerful readings and information come through for you. Again, don't feed your psychic. We don't want to know the information because then it sort of not taints, but it does take away some information that we know.
Don't give them, don't give us or anyone that you're going to see too much, because then they can become biased. Right. And that's something that we don't want to do. We want to give you the most, the best reading that we can possibly give you.
Yeah. The squeakiest clean reading.
Squeaky clean.
Yeah. So I think today we really reviewed some different information about different types of readings, how to get a good reading, tips, make sure you run from people that are looking for money from you. Very, very important. And I hate to say it, I think we all have stories out there that we've heard of people who have had to run away from people who have asked for money. But if you have questions about how to get a good reading, what a reading's all about, What do I do if I'm scared to get a reading? You're more than welcome to email us. Ericka, do you want to give out our email address?
Yeah, sure. Our email address is Ericka and Mary podcast at gmail.com, and Ericka is spelled with a CK. Yeah. So it's Ericka CKA and Mary podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah, and please tune in again. We would love to hear your ideas and thoughts. Email us, tune in, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.